Have you ever dreamed of traveling through time? What if I told you someone might have actually done it? Today, we're diving into the incredible and mysterious story of Kirk Lazarus, a man who dedicated his life to a single, audacious goal: building a time machine. From a young age, Kirk wasn't like other kids. While they were playing outside, he was buried in books about physics, quantum mechanics, and cosmology. He was fascinated by the concept of time, not as a straight line but as a river with currents and eddies that could potentially be navigated. His obsession wasn't just a hobby. It was his life's calling. He believed that the laws of physics, as we understood them, were incomplete. There had to be a way to break free from the linear progression of moments. Kirk spent his early adulthood earning multiple degrees in theoretical physics and engineering. His professors described him as brilliant but eccentric. He'd often propose theories that were far beyond the scope of the curriculum. Theories about wormholes, temporal paradoxes, and the very fabric of space-time. While his peers pursued stable careers in academia or industry, Kirk set up a private laboratory in his secluded home. He poured every penny he had, and some he didn't, into a singular project. Friends and family grew concerned, seeing his relentless pursuit as a descent into madness. They pleaded with him to give up, to live a normal life, but Kirk was undeterred. He was convinced he was on the brink of the greatest discovery in human history. For years, his lab was a fortress of solitude. Strange noises, flashes of light, and power surges were often reported by his neighbors. Locals would joke about the mad scientist on the hill, never truly believing what was happening behind those closed doors. Kirk documented his progress in a series of detailed journals. He wrote about his early failures, machines that would hum and vibrate before shorting out, calculations that led to dead ends. But with each failure, he learned something new. He refined his theories, redesigned his equipment, and pushed forward with an almost superhuman determination. His journals described the Chronos device, a machine he believed could bend spacetime. It wasn't a flashy spinning contraption like in the movies, but a complex array of electromagnets, exotic matter, and a powerful energy source that he claimed could create a localized bubble of distorted time. Then, one day, everything went silent. The strange noises stopped. The lights ceased to flicker. Kirk Lazarus had vanished. Police were called to investigate his disappearance. They found his lab in a state of organized chaos. Blueprints were spread across tables, complex equations covered every inch of whiteboard space, and in the center of the room stood his creation, the Chronos device. It was cold and silent, but there were signs of a massive energy discharge. The most peculiar discovery, however, was his final journal entry. It was dated the day he disappeared. In it, he wrote, "The calculations are complete. The energy is stable. Tonight I take the leap. My destination: ancient Egypt, the land of the pharaohs, the birthplace of so much of our civilization's early knowledge. If this works, I will leave a sign. Look for the eye among the stones." Naturally, authorities dismissed this as the ramblings of a disturbed individual. The official story was that Kirk Lazarus had likely suffered a mental breakdown and simply walked away from his life. His case went cold, and he was eventually declared legally dead. His equipment was dismantled, his lab was cleared out, and the legend of the local mad scientist slowly faded into obscurity. For years, that's where the story ended. A brilliant but troubled man who chased an impossible dream and disappeared. But this is where things get truly fascinating. Years after Kirk's disappearance, a group of independent researchers and enthusiasts who had heard rumors of his work began to piece together his story. They scoured his digital footprints, recovered fragments of his research, and started a forum dedicated to the Lazarus Project. They were convinced that he hadn't just vanished. He had succeeded. They took his final journal entry seriously. Look for the eye among the stones. What could it mean? The community began an unprecedented search, not for Kirk, but for his sign. They focused their attention on ancient Egypt, just as his note suggested. They used satellite imagery and ground-penetrating radar data, cross-referencing it with historical records of archaeological digs. They weren't looking for large, obvious structures, but for anomalies, things that didn't quite fit the historical timeline. For months, their search yielded nothing. It seemed like another dead end, another testament to a beautiful but ultimately futile dream. But then, a breakthrough. A user on the forum, an amateur archaeologist, was examining high-resolution photographs from a recently excavated tomb near the Giza Plateau. This wasn't a grand royal tomb, but a smaller, lesser-known mastaba belonging to a high-ranking official. Tucked away in a corner of one of the reliefs, almost hidden in the intricate carvings, was something that made his heart stop. It was a hieroglyph that had never been seen before. It didn't belong to the known lexicon of ancient Egyptian writing. The symbol was unmistakable, a detailed depiction of the Eye of Horus, a common Egyptian symbol. But inside the pupil of the eye was a perfect, intricately carved gear or cogwheel. A mechanical eye among the stones. This discovery sent shockwaves through the community. A gear? In an ancient Egyptian carving? It was an anachronism, a piece of technology completely out of place for that era. Could this be the sign Kirk Lazarus promised to leave behind? The detail was astonishing. The carving was precise, showing a level of craftsmanship that suggested a deep understanding of mechanics, something the ancient Egyptians simply did not possess in that form. The form exploded with theories. Skeptics argued it could be a modern forgery or a misinterpretation. But the tomb had been sealed for thousands of years. The excavation was well documented, leaving little room for a hoax. Further analysis of the image revealed even more. Etched in microscopic detail around the gear were what appeared to be binary code, a sequence of ones and zeros. When translated, the code revealed a startlingly simple message. I am here. This was beyond coincidence. It was a direct, intelligent message left in a place it shouldn't be, using a language that wouldn't be invented for millennia. The evidence was mounting. Kirk Lazarus, the man who believed he could conquer time, might have actually done it. The story doesn't end there. Inspired by the discovery, researchers went back to other Egyptian sites. They started finding more anomalies, small things that had been overlooked or dismissed by mainstream archaeology. A strange chemical residue on a pottery shard that matched materials Kirk mentioned in his notes. A faint radioisotope signature in a section of a temple wall, consistent with the energy source he described for the Kronos device. Each new find was another piece of the puzzle, another breadcrumb on the trail. So what do we make of all this? Is it a collection of coincidences and wishful thinking? Or is it evidence of one of the most profound events in human history? The story of Kirk Lazarus challenges our understanding of what's possible. It forces us to question the rigid boundaries of time and space we take for granted. We have the story of a dedicated genius, his detailed research, his mysterious disappearance, and a series of inexplicable anomalies found exactly where he said they would be. The mainstream scientific community, of course, remains highly skeptical. Without a body, without the machine itself, the tale of Kirk Lazarus remains in the realm of fringe theory and speculation. But for those who have followed the story, for those who have seen the Jai among the stones, it's more than just a theory, it's a beacon of hope. A testament to the power of human ingenuity and the relentless pursuit of a dream, no matter how impossible it may seem. Perhaps one day we'll uncover definitive proof. Maybe another message will be found, or perhaps Kirk Lazarus himself will find a way to return. Until then, his story serves as a powerful reminder that the universe is far more mysterious and wonderful than we can possibly imagine. What do you think? Did Kirk Lazarus succeed in his quest to travel through time? Or is it all just an elaborate modern myth? Let me know your theories in the comments below. Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this journey into the unknown, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next exploration of history's greatest mysteries. See you next time.